Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
G'day, Nils Vesk from Innovate or Die. Welcome to this series where we're going to be looking at ways that you can bring commercial innovation to your organisation and your business for great commercial gain. So you might be thinking, innovate or die, what a serious topic. Well, the reality is, unless we're innovating, we're either competing on price or we're playing catch up, trying to chase our competitors as they go out and capture the market. And innovation is such a crucial key element that we all need in our businesses today. And when I've worked with organisations around the world, there's one common problem that I find, and that is that there are too few innovations and they're just too far apart. And the number one cause behind all of this is our biased perception. The bottom line is the way that we've been taught to think about innovation has skewed the way that we think about innovating and the ways that we can come up with new ideas. And that can either be a good thing or a bad thing. And in each one of our episodes, we're going to be unpacking a model called innovation archetypes. Because if we can understand the biases of the most amazing professional innovators and use their best principles, then we can use that to create great commercial gain in our own organizations. So let's quickly unpack each one of these archetypes and phases so you've got an idea of what we're going to be doing in each episode. And so we have universally 4 phases of innovation when it comes to it. We've got the investigation phase, ideation, iteration, and commercialisation. The investigation phase is all about looking for insights as to where we should be applying our thinking to generate brilliant ideas. The ideation phase is all about coming up with lots and lots of great ideas. And then this iteration phase is all about testing, piloting and prototyping our ideas so we can minimise the risk while increasing our certainty. And finally, we've got the commercialisation phase. This is all about taking our idea, building it, and then selling it to the masses so we can get a good commercial return. And each one of our episodes, we're going to unpack one of these expert archetypes so we can borrow and model them to get some great commercial results. So let's get ready to rock, innovate or die. G'day, welcome to Innovate or Die. This episode, as you might be able to see, is all about how to innovate like a behaviouralist for customer insights. And like all of our episodes on Innovate or Die, I'm really excited about this one. And the reason why I guess I'm super excited about innovating like a behaviouralist is that it enables us to get into the shoes of a psychologist, an anthropologist, or a sociologist, anyone who studies the mind, to work out how we can find out more about what our customers are thinking. That is, why? Well, we want to know what is it that our customers are thinking so that we can really try and unravel the way that they're thinking about things and look at ways that we can entice them more to buy more of our products or more of our services. Now, just a little bit of a caveat, I am not a psychologist or a behaviouralist by any means, but I do have some 20 years of psychology experience. How so? Well, I went out with a psychologist many years ago. This amazing woman who had a master's degree in behavioural science and psychology, and went out with her for 8 years, and then she dumped me, and I've been in therapy ever since then. So that's kind of how I've learned a lot of my behavioural sciences. But seriously, the thing that behaviouralists, again, whether it's an anthropologist, whether it's a psychologist or a sociologist, or even an ethnologist, what they do amazingly well is they create commercial insights that we can use to generate innovation. So where do these guys play? Well, you might recall on the different phases of innovation, behaviouralists play in the space of insight generation in investigation. And the behaviouralist sits more or less over on that far right side. That is, you could generalise that many psychologists and behaviouralists are very right brain thinking. That is, that they have strong emotional intelligence. Now, some of you might be going, emotional intelligence, what's that? Well, really, if we want to understand our clients and our customers better and their behaviours, we need to develop that emotional intelligence. So fasten your seatbelts because it's going to be a rock and roll experience as we go deep onto the behaviouralist sofa to find out more about innovating like a behaviouralist. And there are three really good commercial reasons why we want to innovate like a behaviouralist. And the first one is essentially around this whole concept about uncovering behaviours. If we can uncover the behaviours, we can find the territory of where we can actually innovate. So let me phrase that in a certain way. What we're after here is, imagine we're going fishing. We want to catch fish to eat or to sell to make our money or to feed the family. And insight generation is about finding where the fish are. It's not going to catch the fish for us, but it's going to say, this is where the fish are. It's very similar to what commercial fishermen use, which is a depth sounder. It goes, bounces off signals and say, this is where the fish were. So this is kind of one of the first reasons why we want to know, what are those behaviours and where are the commercial innovations that we can find within that space. The second relates to choice. And that is, if we can better understand how choices can affect our decision making, then we can actually use that to influence our customers and our clients to purchase things that we would prefer them to buy. Yes, it's slight manipulation, but it works, and understanding how behavioural sciences have studied this makes total commercial sense. And the third real commercial reason why we want to be able to innovate like a behaviouralist is that if we can get really clear about what a customer, I guess, turns them on in terms of their motivational preference, we can actually use that to entice them to buy either more or to buy our product over our competition. So there are three really good commercial reasons as to why we should be innovating like a behaviouralist. And the first area that I really want to start off today is this whole concept of what we call observing reactions. Now, you could probably argue that behaviouralists in many ways are almost paid perverts. I know that sounds a little bit crass, but really they get paid to watch. And watching people really does lead to some big commercial insights if you know what to look for. So how do we go about observing reactions? Well, reactions might be, say, for example, how a customer or a client reacts to a phone script that we might have in terms of a phone conversation. It might be how a customer or a client responds to a certain landing page on a website. It might be how they react when we have a conversation with them in a sales meeting. Observing how they react enable us to unpack why they're doing it and what the reasons behind that might mean, whether we can improve our communication or understand what's going in through their mind. And the first space that I'd like to sort of start to talk about is this concept of observing what we call our situations. And there are a few different areas we can think of when it comes to observing our situation. We've got, if you can imagine, the place of where a situation might be happening. So let's say, for example, we could be at a little meeting room and we've got our clients and we're sort of sitting around discussing some sort of proposal that we've got there. This is all about understanding the place where we're actually having the conversation. And at the same time, we also want to be mindful of what's happening with the people themselves. What are their reactions? What's happening in their environment? What's happening in the world when they communicate? And to put this into context, let's say, for example, we're looking at how can we improve the innovation. We want to think about what place or what environment, what physical or built environment are our clients or our customers when they're experiencing us? If they're at home, does that affect the way that they might be thinking about our business? If they come to a store or to our offices for meetings, is that affecting the way that they think about our products and our services? Is there a pressured environment where they've got things that they've got to get out the door? Are they under pressure? All of those conditions are things that can have an impact on how people are thinking and feeling in regards to our products and our services. So it's really good to observe this. And a good example of this, I've got a really good mate of mine by the name of Michael Henderson. And Michael Henderson is one of the world's leading corporate anthropologists. He studied anthropology, that is, he studies tribes, and he believes that an organization is no different. You've got a chief, a little CEO chief in many ways, and you've got your little tribes. Even if you've got a little business of one or two, you've got a little tribe. And one of the things I found working with Michael on a number of projects is that he would always walk around with his beautiful moleskin diary and be writing down notes. Basically, he he would just observe without judgment, without his preconceived ideas. This is what he's noticed. And what he would find, say for example, if he would work around a little business, he would find that it's interesting that there seems to be more conversations happening around the photocopier or in the tea room than there are in the meeting rooms. And so by little observations, he realised, well, actually, we've got to have better conversations in this organisation. What we need to do is facilitate that more. So let's have rooms or design some spaces where we enable and foster these types of conversations.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.